You, the chosen one. There is a massive fundamental shift happening in your nightlife that you may not have been able to put into words until now. It's a subtle but powerful realization that something is different when you wake up. You sense a sudden deep calm in your space, an image or symbol that refuses to fade from your mind, or maybe a sentence that feels like a whisper you never actually heard but cannot shake loose. This isn't just your mind wandering. The deep essential truth that most people casually overlook is this: your nightly visions are not random. Heaven does not invest a vision just to waste it. God often chooses to communicate with you when your physical eyes are closed, specifically so the eyes of your soul can be fully open and receptive. Decoding the divine night, you've experienced visions of rushing water, dangerous-looking serpents, and mysterious doors that defy the logic of the physical world, yet their memory is incredibly sharp and vivid. This isn't a figment of your imagination. What you are receiving is a spiritual briefing, a carefully encrypted transmission intended for those who have been selected to peer past the veil, the very barrier that prevents others from seeing beyond the superficial. While many people's dreams are just background noise to them, you have been specifically chosen to decode the divine patterns woven into your sleep. The very fact that you are still reading this is not merely a sign of curiosity. It is a confirmation that you are currently receiving divine instruction. Your night is not a time for simple rest. It's a moment of activation. Tonight we are going to unveil the 7 distinct dream themes that God consistently uses to communicate with you, without your conscious, logical mind even realizing it's happening. When you finish this message, you will possess a new, profound understanding of the sacredness of your sleep. But pay close attention to every word that follows. Each moment you spend with this message is a vital piece of the overall instruction. If you skip any part, you risk missing a code that is essential for your next spiritual breakthrough. If your spirit is feeling stirred and ready to awaken even inside your dreams, please hit the like button now. Subscribe if you feel this spiritual confirmation, and type the number 99 in the comments, because Psalm 99 declares, "The Lord reigns. Let the nations tremble." When God speaks to you in the deep silence of your sleep, even the most profound darkness is forced to shake and yield. Let's start this journey. Chosen one. 1. The revelation of water. If you have recently seen water in your dreams, you must do more than just remember the scene. You must actively interpret it. In the spiritual realm, water is not merely an element. It is a powerful language. When the heavens choose to speak to you through water, the message is never on the surface. Perhaps you saw yourself drowning, unable to breathe, feeling dragged under by unseen forces. This is not just a dream of fear. It is a profound revelation. It signifies that you are being overwhelmed by unacknowledged emotions, or by deep, unresolved wounds that you have buried too deeply to fully heal. It's an urgent spiritual alarm that you are silently losing an internal battle, and God is signaling you back to the safe shore of confession and healing. Conversely, perhaps the water you saw was perfectly still, completely clear, calm, and peaceful. This is not just a dream of simple rest. It is a powerful message of alignment. This is the Spirit confirming that you are flowing directly in the center of His will, even if the world around you appears full of uncertainty and chaos. However, if the water was wild, waves crashing, a sudden storm rising, strong currents dragging you into the unknown, do not assume you are in danger. You are in fact in a state of transition. God is actively dismantling the old structures and habits within your life. His intention is not to destroy you, but to cleanse you for what is next. Water serves as a mirror. It doesn't just reflect you. It reveals where you are resisting His movement and where He is preparing to immerse you into a greater and more powerful calling. Here is a critical detail most people entirely miss. The way you react to the water in your dream is an exact mirror of how you respond to the divine movement in your waking life. Do you run from its power? Do you desperately attempt to control it? Or do you simply yield and allow it to carry you forward? The dream of water is not just a symbol to be analyzed. It is a direct question from the Creator, and He is waiting for you to provide an answer. So the next time water appears in your sleep, do not ask, "What does this image mean?" Instead, ask with all sincerity, "Lord, where are you attempting to guide me that my fear is currently blocking?" Now that we've uncovered what reveals your inner soul, let's move on to the next dream, which exposes what is secretly hidden in the shadows all around you. Keep watching. 2. The alert of the serpent chosen one. When a snake silently slithers into the landscape of your dreams, you are not being tormented by a random nightmare. You are being urgently alerted. This specific symbol is a highly coded message from the spiritual realm. The serpent rarely speaks. It signals. Its appearance is a profound warning about something your spirit already intuitively senses, but your conscious mind consistently refuses to confront or accept. If you find yourself bitten in the dream, understand that the venom is not physical. It is a spiritual or emotional poison. This often represents jealousy, manipulative gossip, or outright betrayal being injected into your life by someone who smiles in your face, but secretly works and prays for your failure and fall. The location of the bite holds deep significance. A bite on your hand often means your core calling, your work, or your ability to produce is under direct attack. A bite on your foot indicates that dark forces are trying to divert, redirect, or completely halt your chosen path. But what if the snake was not immediately visible? What if it was hidden, under your bed, deep in the grass, or most importantly, behind someone you deeply love and trust? This is not just raw fear. It is profound spiritual surveillance. It means a camouflaged threat is actively watching you. Someone close to you, someone you trust, may unintentionally be the very doorway the enemy is utilizing to get close enough to inflict damage. Now, if you have the power to kill the snake in your dream, never overlook the significance of that moment. That is a clear, decisive victory achieved in the unseen realm. It is a silent deliverance, a spiritual battle won while your physical body was resting, but your spirit was fully standing in its armor. God sends these serpent dreams, not to cause panic or scare you, but to dramatically sharpen your spiritual senses. Their purpose is to activate your discernment radar so that you stop blindly trusting every kind word spoken to you and start actively testing every spirit you encounter. The hard truth that few wish to acknowledge is that some smiles carry venom. Some seemingly positive words are curses in a deceptive disguise. And your dream is the one sacred place where the mask is finally forced to slip, revealing the true face of the threat. So the next time a snake makes an appearance, do not panic or flee. Stand your ground and ask with absolute spiritual boldness, Lord, who in my current life is positioned close enough to inflict a bite, yet operates quietly enough to successfully deceive me? Prepare yourself now, because while the snake reveals who is hiding, the next dream theme shows you precisely what God is opening up for you. Stay here, chosen one. 3. The threshold of the door. When a door appears in your dream, you are not simply encountering hinges and wood. You are standing at a major spiritual threshold. Heaven is providing you with a glimpse of a reality that the natural world cannot show you. The clear evidence that your entire life is about to fundamentally shift. Whether this door is completely open, locked tight, slightly cracked, or even mysteriously disappears, every minute detail is a significant code, a revelation concerning the timing and the precise trajectory of your calling and purpose. If the door is open, do not celebrate prematurely. It represents not just access, but a significant test. What you are about to walk into is the direct answer to prayers offered by the version of yourself that barely survived last year's challenges. An open door means your next season is completely available, but your obedience is the actual key that unlocks the passage. If the door is completely locked, do not immediately despair or curse the perceived delay. God may be actively protecting what you are currently not spiritually or emotionally ready to carry or manage. A locked door is not an act of rejection. It is an act of preservation. Sometimes the silence of heaven is far more potent and louder than any immediate yes. But if the door is broken or splintered, you must pay very close attention. This dream signals a security breach in the spirit. It means an enemy has successfully located your current access point and is actively attempting to sabotage your next move before you even have a chance to make it. God strategically uses door dreams to consistently recalibrate your spiritual discernment. Remember this truth. Not everything that appears open is automatically divine. Not everything that is closed is a punishment or sign of failure. And not every available hallway is meant for your feet to travel down. But here is the deeper lesson. If you are simply standing in front of a mysterious door, unable to move, completely uncertain of what lies behind it, the message may not be about the door itself at all. It may be a direct message about your own personal readiness. You may have been praying earnestly for a future that you have not yet mentally or spiritually allowed yourself to step into. So the next time you experience that specific dream, the hallway, the handle, the total unknown behind the wood, ask yourself with brutal honesty, do I have the faith to bravely walk through the opportunity I begged God to send me? Now listen carefully, because the next dream does not involve objects or spaces. It involves something deeply alive, and what it carries holds the potential to unlock your entire spiritual blueprint. Stay with me, for the responsibility of the baby chosen one. When a baby appears in the landscape of your dream, the message is not primarily about innocence. It is about profound responsibility. You are not being shown a mere child. You are being shown a seed, a sacred divine deposit. This seed is fragile, but it is holy, small in appearance, but destined to dramatically shift your world or even generations. A baby being held securely in your arms signifies that God has completely entrusted you with something sacred, a vision, a core purpose, a spiritual assignment that was specifically designed for you before you were even born into this world. But simply because it is now in your hands does not guarantee its safety. You are still required to feed it, actively protect it, and relentlessly fight for it to survive and thrive. If the baby in your dream is crying, do not casually ignore the sound. That cry is not background noise. It is your divine calling, actively begging for your undivided attention. You have procrastinated or delayed an act of obedience for too long, or perhaps you have consistently doubted your own God-given capacity. Heaven, however, is done waiting for you to catch up. If you see a baby that has been seemingly abandoned in the dream, that is the most urgent warning of all. It means you have deliberately walked away from something eternal, a significant spiritual pregnancy left tragically unattended. Just like a physical newborn, if you do not actively nurture this divine vision, it will not fully survive or reach its potential. Understand that this dream is not about physical parenthood. It is about legacy. You have been carrying something incredibly significant in the spirit. Perhaps you haven't yet found the right language to describe it. Perhaps no one around you can see it or acknowledge it, but you know it is there. A deep pressure, a powerful stirring, a divine weight you simply cannot explain away. And here is what most people fail to realize. The enemy is not actually afraid of who you are now. He is completely terrified of the potential of what you are currently carrying. This is precisely why the spiritual warfare against you has sharply increased. This is why the quality of your sleep has changed, because something monumental inside of you is on the verge of emerging and being birthed into the world. So the next time a baby is present in your dream, don't ask, "What is this thing?" Instead, ask with fierce dedication, "God, how exactly do I raise and nurture what you have just birthed into my spirit?" Now we transition into the realm where the veil between worlds becomes incredibly thin and where the past often attempts to speak to you. But remember, not every presence you encounter comes in peace. Keep watching. 5. The Messenger in Memory Chosen One. There are some dreams that merely whisper quiet reminders, and then there are others that forcefully pierce your soul. When someone you know who has passed away makes a direct visit to you in the night, you're not simply experiencing a memory. You are being momentarily summoned into a sacred realm where the living and the eternal are allowed to briefly intersect and communicate. This experience is not merely an act of nostalgia. It's not always the resurgence of old grief. Sometimes it is God choosing to speak to you through memory, utilizing the familiar image of someone you love to skillfully bypass your internal logic and reach the deepest part of your soul, the part that is still listening when you are most vulnerable and unguarded. Perhaps the person in the dream clearly spoke a message to you. Perhaps they simply gave you a meaningful look, or maybe they said absolutely nothing, but you woke up with tears streaming down your face. That intense feeling is not just raw emotion. It is a clear message. God may be bringing you essential closure, healing a profound wound that you never fully processed in the daylight. Or he could be passing on a vital prophetic instruction that your conscious mind would have automatically dismissed as nonsense. Furthermore, these dreams can occasionally be ancestral awakenings, powerful reminders that a generational battle, perhaps one that has spanned centuries, has finally reached its last and final warrior. You must hear this clearly and anchor this truth. Not every presence is divine. The enemy is a master of imitation and disguise. Some dreams are blatant counterfeits, false imitations carefully designed to distract you, to deceive your senses, or to detour you from your intended path. How can you tell the difference between the true and the false? The key is not in what is explicitly said. The key is in what is left behind after you wake up. If the dream leaves you with profound peace, deep spiritual conviction, or crystalline clarity, then heaven has touched you. If it leaves you with nagging confusion, raw fear, or an unhealthy obsession, it was sent to actively distort your understanding. This is why your discernment is your single greatest shield of protection. When the dead appear, you must not ask a question based on emotion, but with pure spiritual authority. Ask boldly, Lord, was this message genuinely from you, or was it a shadow wearing the disguise of a memory? We, the chosen ones, are not merely passive dreamers. We are active gatekeepers, and not every spirit deserves the sacred access of your sleep. Now we must cross from the invisible world into the inevitable. The next dream does not whisper from your past. It violently drags you from the comfort of the present and ruthlessly tests whether the foundation you are currently standing on is solid rock or merely an illusion. 6. The interruption of falling. Brace yourself, chosen one. There is a specific kind of dream that never arrives with subtle symbols. It arrives with pure, raw impact. It is the sudden drop, the violent jolt that instantly snaps you awake. Your heart aggressively racing, your spirit completely shaken. You are suddenly falling. But this is not merely an anxious episode, or your mind wildly spiraling out of control. It is your spirit being forcibly interrupted and repositioned. When God allows you to experience a fall in a dream, He is absolutely not attempting to punish you. He is trying to urgently reposition your life. Perhaps you are currently losing control of something you were never meant to try and manage or carry alone. A relationship, a public title, or a role you have fundamentally outgrown. Instead of letting go, you have been desperately white-knuckling a version of your life that He has already called you to abandon. Alternatively, you may be fiercely clinging to an inner pride, to false illusions of total stability, or to platforms you have built on fear instead of genuine, confident faith. The fall in this context is God's profound mercy actively stripping away everything that is false before it inevitably collapses while you are still standing on top of it. Yet sometimes He lets you fall almost all the way to the ground just to unequivocally show you that He still catches you. That moment, which felt like a total failure, was actually a process of divine formation. It was a spiritual reset, not intended to break you into pieces, but to rebuild you upon the foundation of absolute truth. Here is the part that few truly grasp. Falling in a dream does not always equate to impending danger or failure. It can powerfully signify that you are finally being separated from what was never truly you to begin with. Things like a crippling ego, deep pride, or the illusion of control. He is actively tearing those things down. Therefore, the essential question to ask yourself is not, why am I falling right now? The question is, what have I built my identity upon that God is now forcefully shaking loose? The fall is never the end of the story. It is the solid start of something far more grounded and secure. As you awaken, breathless, confused, and afraid, the whisper from heaven is unmistakable and clear. When everything else collapses, I will always remain your sure foundation. 7. The awareness of being watched. But what happens right after the fall is over, and you still have that lingering, chilling sensation that you are being watched? That something is actively tracking you, even when there is absolutely nothing visible there. Get ready, because this final dream does not shake your body. It profoundly invades your entire atmosphere. Chosen one. This specific dream does not involve monsters, fire, or violent chaos. It is solely defined by a profound, pervasive feeling that you are under constant surveillance, not by a specific person or anything you can clearly name, but by an unseen, yet undeniably present entity. You may look around in the dream and see nothing, but the very air feels thick and heavy. You feel scrutinized, measured, and completely known, and this is not a random occurrence. This is not paranoia or a figment of your overactive mind. This is raw spiritual awareness. You have successfully crossed an essential threshold. You are now officially on the radar of realms you weren't even aware were monitoring your progress. When you have been explicitly marked by destiny, both heaven and hell automatically take notice of you. Angels observe your spiritual growth. Demons meticulously study your every perceived weakness. The very atmosphere surrounding you becomes aware of your potent presence. And this dream is an absolute confirmation. You are no longer invisible to the invisible realm. But here is the single most critical point that most people miss. You are not being watched because you are weak. You are being watched precisely because you are spiritually dangerous. Your powerful anointing is rapidly rising. Your divine authority is exponentially growing. And the entire spirit realm is actively tracking your every single move because your next major decision has the potential to activate a generational shift that affects many people. This dream is a highly personalized briefing. God is clearly showing you that you have become a key player in a profound spiritual war that others are still deeply sleeping through. You are no longer successfully hidden, no longer simply protected by obscurity. You have been revealed. This is why you feel so incredibly exposed, because you are spiritually lit up like a powerful signal tower that is clearly visible to both the darkness and the light. So, the next time you feel those invisible, watchful eyes upon you, do not run and do not shrink back into hiding. Instead, stand your ground, because that intense, deliberate gaze means one thing. Your destined time to move, to speak with authority, and to lead has finally and officially arrived. You've been seen by the divine. Now it is time for you to start acting like the powerful person you have been called to be, your final awakening. But before we bring this message to a close, there is one final, essential thing you must hear. This is the one truth that powerfully connects every single dream theme we have discussed. If you miss this last moment of instruction, you may completely miss the entire purpose of why these powerful dreams were sent to you in the first place. Stay connected. This conclusion is not an ending. It is the final awakening, chosen one. What you have casually referred to as simple dreams were never just dreams. They are heavenly blueprints, encrypted spiritual codes and sacred, precise instructions hidden within your night visions. While others are perpetually distracted by the world, you are being activated by a higher calling. While others sleep away their potential, you are being actively trained and equipped by heaven itself. Every powerful symbol, every striking image, every potent emotion you couldn't possibly explain upon waking was heaven's unique way of marking you. God is deliberately hiding messages within mystery, ensuring that only those who are truly awake in the spirit have the capacity to understand them. Be sure of this. He is not silent. He has been speaking directly to you while you sleep, because your spirit was prepared and ready to receive the message long before your limited mind could comprehend it. So tonight, do not simply go to bed as you always have. Do not close your eyes as if nothing profound is happening in your life. Lie down instead with fierce expectation, with prophetic purpose and with an unshakable resolve, because those who are truly called do not merely rest, they watch. They are not easily distracted. They diligently discern. They do not just dream. They receive sacred maps for their destiny. Declare this truth right now in the comments section. God, speak to me while I sleep. Let the heavenly realms see your response and your commitment. May the divine codes continue to flow to you without interruption. May your soul remain vibrantly awake, even in the deepest dark of the night. If this word has profoundly awakened something essential within you, please share this video with another chosen one you know, because the called do not walk alone. They consistently recognize each other's anointing. They actively activate each other's purpose. They confirm each other's calling. This channel exists not to feed the mind, but to directly nourish the spirit. You can no longer sleep the same way again, because now you definitively know that your powerful dreams are actively guiding you toward a destiny that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. Amen.